Analysis of Language of Content, presented by Gina Plaitakis. Student population: 17 first grade students, 6 boys, 11 girls, all ranging age 6. Their race is Spanish from Dominican Republic. Their native language spoken at home is Spanish. 98% of the students have free lunch. Number of children with 504s or IEPs is 0. The school setting is urban, with 84% children in low income, and 65% of the student population are ELLs. The class proficiency levels are from their spring access scores, which range from 1.0 to 3.4. The content area curriculum is language arts, and we're reading the story Pete the Cat Rocking in My School Shoes. The content objectives: students will be able to name the settings and the actions taking place, both orally and in writing. Students will be able to describe events in the story using present continuous tense verbs ending in ing in writing and orally. Students will be able to write a complete sentence with punctuation and capitalization. Students will be able to sequence events of a story by drawing the beginning, middle, and end. And students will write a sentence describing each drawing. For example, Pete is playing on the playground, or Pete is swinging on the playground. English language arts, the core curriculum standards. For SL 1.1 at the bottom, participate in collaborative conversations with diverse partners about grade 1 topics and texts with peers and adults in small and larger groups. Follow agreed upon rules for discussions. This is something that we will have discussed and practiced during the first week of school, how to have group discussions, raise our hands, and wait for our turn while listening to our friends. Our reminder mantra is, what does a good friend do? Students will be adding drawings to their descriptions to help clarify ideas, thoughts, and feelings. Students will demonstrate command of the conventions by using English capitalization and punctuation. And students will be able to recount the story by choosing 3 events and settings that they will choose themselves. The standards for WIDA are English language learners level 1 entering will be able to match nouns of places to the settings in the story and action verbs to the events in the story. And for level 2, students will be able to describe the events of the story using the present continuous tense verbs ending in ing. For content obligatory vocabulary, what is difficult for ELLs? Temporal words beginning, middle, and end, as well as verbs for actions and nouns for places. For idiomatic expressions, I'm rocking in my school shoes, and check out Pete, and also it's all good. These are assumed that students know their meanings, but they are slang and often not used in academic settings. However, the illustrations help students understand what is happening, even if they don't understand every word. The supports are built into the text, and there are many vibrant visuals and repetition of the theme, which helps students' understanding. And language functions and structures, the present continuous tense of action verbs, nouns of places are the main vocabulary that we will find. There's also rhyme, repetition, and pattern of the main theme throughout the story. I'm rocking in my school shoes, I'm singing in my school shoes, and I'm painting in my school shoes. There's also one sentence that has past tense, or one page of past tense where the theme is I was rocking in my school shoes. And the future tense is one sentence, I will do it again tomorrow. Explaining the different tenses could be challenging for ELLs, but translating the meaning, for example, for the future tense by saying the word in Spanish for tomorrow could help them with understanding. Activities and language skills. Classroom activities include listening to a read aloud. We will also listen and watch a video of the story read by the author. and speaking during class discussions to ask and answer questions identifying settings and events in the story. We will read the story again and look at the pictures to identify the settings and events while I transcribe onto an anchor chart the places and activities that happen during the beginning, middle, and end. Verbs for actions will include strolling, reading, eating, playing, singing, painting, writing, working, and rocking. Nouns for places in the story include home, school, bus, classroom, hall, library, lunchroom, playground, art room, and music room. We will be singing chorally during group read-alouds and also while watching the video. We will be reading nouns of places and sentences transcribed from group discussion on the anchor chart. There will be a graphic organizer, and students will be able to choose and draw 3 events from the story to represent the beginning, middle, and end. And they will also write sentences to describe the 3 chosen events. Home-based activities may include matching verbs to pictures for the verbs in the story, such as playing, eating, etc. And also an activity of drawing themselves doing their favorite activity in school. And in the end, we will do a show and tell, presenting our ideas to class. Expected classroom behaviors. We will have group discussions. We will be working in pairs for turn and talk, think, pair, share. We will do group work with pairs practicing asking and answering questions. Sociocultural assumptions and implications. The underlying assumptions about idiomatic expressions. These slang terms were mentioned earlier, and also the student belief system's emphasis on the individual. This story is definitely expressing an American cultural view of the individual being most important. Its lesson emphasizes the need to be independent, be like Pete, a cool cat who doesn't worry and can go about his day calm, cool, and collected. This may be different for ELLs coming from a collectivist cultural view that emphasizes working together, family, and values the needs of the community over the individual. Part 3, implications for planning and managing instruction and assessment, adapting the text and tasks based on proficiency levels. One of the adaptations I would make for my ELLs is to enable them to practice asking and answering questions in Spanish with a peer, and the peer can translate their answers for the class. I would also translate the temporal words beginning, middle, and end, as well as have them translated on the anchor chart and graphic organizers. Another idea is to accept one-word answers from students with lower levels of proficiency rather than a full written sentence or full oral sentence to describe the beginning, middle, and end drawings. I may even accept drawings alone without written descriptions depending on the proficiency level. For building background, I would do a preview of the story and ask questions to see if students can make predictions about the story by looking at the pictures. I would also teach students to look for what's important in the text by pointing out the words that are big and bold and ask students why they think the author has made the text that way. I would also have students draw themselves doing a favorite activity that they do in school, such as art, music, or gym, to make personal connections to the main character, Pete. For scaffolding techniques, I would revisit the story multiple times and have students watch a video read aloud by the author to give the students a different experience with the text. I would model creating a graphic organizer as a group activity, first by transcribing student ideas about places and events into the beginning, middle, and end of the story. I would provide sentence starters for students as well as an anchor chart with all the settings and verbs found in the story along with a visual for each. And this way students who are not yet reading would be able to write the word under the drawing by matching the visuals. For classroom behavioral expectations, we would practice taking turns in group discussions, raising our hand, and saying answers and questions with a group activity by singing the song, Who Stole the Cookie from the Cookie Jar? This song is a lot of fun, and even newcomers will pick up on the differences of intonation between questions and answers, as well as the differences in body language. It also teaches students the dynamic of a two-way conversation and how to wait for a response from the person they are asking the question.